Payday, payday. I know that. Canelo Alvarez has become what he once shamed. Ladies and gentlemen, he wants $150 to $200 million to fight David Benavidez. He used to shame other fighters by wanting just payday and not a legacy, not really to challenge himself, just to use them for payday. And now he has become what he once shamed. David Benavidez took it to IG and said, if I have nothing to offer, then why are you demanding you get $150 to $200 million to fight someone who isn't worth anything? Hopefully, after you make that $150 million, you have enough left over to buy a pair of nuts. Wow. And he's talking about salty nuts at that. Look, man, Canelo Alvarez have looked bad. Canelo Alvarez during the press conference with Jaime Munguia, he just looked it bad. He looked it bad. I mean, the way that Canelo Alvarez talked is what a lot of the boxing fans have shamed other fighters. You feel me? Canelo Alvarez never cared about weight. That's why he's the 4th division world champion. Super middleweight undisputed. From 154 to 160 to 168 to 175. And he was going to go out there to the cruiserweight division and fight Makabu. Remember they petitioned the WBC that he was going to fight Makabu from the Congo? Remember? Now Canelo Alvarez is worried about David Benavidez's weight. He wants to outprice himself. Ladies and gentlemen, we got to keep the same energy. Every time we hear somebody outpricing himself, we give them the tag of a duck. And Canelo Alvarez is moving like a duck. Quack, quack. Now look, let's be real. I give Canelo Alvarez the benefit of the doubt when he says that he got nothing left to prove. I've been saying that. Canelo Alvarez really don't got nothing left to prove. He has separated himself from his contemporaries, right? You know what I'm saying? None of these guys can match him when in terms of legacy. So I understand that. I understand that David Benavidez, on paper, really doesn't enhance the legacy of Canelo Alvarez, right? Unless if you just say that he fought an ex-world champion, which is David Benavidez. But David Benavidez doesn't have a strap. David Benavidez is not on anybody's pound-for-pound list. David Benavidez doesn't have a Hall of Fame legacy up to Hall of Fame resume up to this point. So I understand Canelo Alvarez in that point, but we also got to understand that Canelo Alvarez is referred as King Canelo Alvarez, King Nelo, a.k.a. Cartelo, a.k.a. Cash Nelo, a.k.a. Payday, a.k.a. Get the out of here, man. Canelo Alvarez have responsibility. And yes, Canelo Alvarez have put himself in position where he could do whatever he want to do, but he still has responsibility. And if David Benavidez, not if, but he is the mandatory challenger for a couple of years to get an opportunity to fight Canelo Alvarez, to fight whoever is holding that WBC strap. Now, you could do whatever you want to do, just like us humans, us adults. Yeah, we could do whatever we want to do. Anybody who's listening, we could do whatever we want to do. But at the end of the day, we still have the responsibility to do the right thing. And a leader, a king, a president, or whatever, right? They get the praise, and they also get the most criticism because they're in a leadership role. If something happens in this country, right? Look, during the pandemic and during the coronavirus, guess what? Who gets the blame? Everybody was blaming Donald Trump, right? Okay. Now, if Canelo Alvarez is the king, remember, he put a crown on top of his head when he defeated, I believe it was Billy Joe Saunders, or I think it was Caleb Plant. He referred to himself as a king. Well, boxing is a kingdom, and you're the one that's responsible for the kingdom. You got to follow suit. You got to set the tone. And Canelo Alvarez have set the tone for the most part. But at the end of the day, you got responsibility. And right now, Canelo Alvarez is looking weak when it comes to David Benavidez. He's looking afraid. He's looking scared. And I know that's not Canelo Alvarez. I know that's not Canelo Alvarez, but that's the way that you look like. And in today's world, people go through perception. Because reality is not primary in today's world. It's perception. It's an illusion. And you're setting that illusion and that perception that you are afraid of David Benavidez, the Mexican monster, the Ecuadorian monster, the Dominican monster. Huh? I believe that Canelo Alvarez saw that fight with David Benavidez versus Demetrius Andrade. And he gave that fight, his prediction was a 50-50 fight. and he saw that David Benavidez couldn't be stopped, and was a monster that night. And he knew that David Benavidez rehydrated over 25 pounds. And now all of a sudden, he's timid of that 25 extra pounds. He saw the way that he beat one of the guys that he avoided in 160 pounds for that undisputed run, right? To capture the undisputed. And he said, no, I don't want any part of that monster. As a Canelo Alvarez fan, I could see, I never heard Canelo Alvarez like this. Seems like he's shivering. Seems like he's very timid. Seems like he's afraid of losing what he got. Not just the fight. He already lost his O a long time ago. But I think he's afraid to lose in front of his people, the Mexican people. He won't be the poster boy anymore. He's not looking like he's looking like a great fighter, but not like a special fighter. Lately, Canelo Alvarez have declined just a bit. And looking that he couldn't stop John Ryder, he couldn't stop Triple G, he couldn't stop Jermell Charlo, he couldn't stop Dimitri Bivol, and he see that David Benavidez is walking into his prime, and he's looking nearly invincible. Especially in the last 3 rounds of that fight with Demetrius Andrade. Canelo Alvarez see the incline of David Benavidez and see the decline of himself. And this is why he wants that $200 million, because he knows that David Benavidez, the monster, has enough to put some permanent damage on Canelo Alvarez. And Canelo Alvarez is looking for an extreme insurance policy. Here, thus the $200 million, because he won't be the same after David Benavidez gets done with him. That's the perception Canelo Alvarez is given. He should be the favorite versus David Benavidez, but the perception and the way he's going about it seems like he has no confidence in beating David Benavidez.